Now you might be wondering, okay, I get now there's these metrics that I need to focus on. But how do I get these metrics in place? Like, who is going to help me do that? And that's a great question, because at the end of the day, I do believe that numbers and strategy are simply a byproduct of great leadership. And that's ultimately the number one reason why a VC or any investor in general invests or does not invest in a company. To get to those metrics and to get into a culture where every single person in the company is making decisions on data based on customers and people and not just gut instincts, you need to actually build out the finance leadership stack quite early, especially for a high growth company. And what that entails is building out the different stacks of this pyramid, which you see in this in the center of this slide. And by the way, I can't really take credit for this pyramid because it's taken directly from an Andreessen Horowitz article, which talks about the role of a CFO. And they published that a little over a year ago. So you can go look up this article, which talks about it in more detail after our session, if you like. But essentially, this is getting your house in order when it comes to the finance and operations part of your organization. What that starts off with is essentially getting your bookkeeping and accounting in order. So as an entrepreneur and being one myself, unfortunately, I have to say that is not easy from an accounting and operational perspective to get this in order. And the reason being is that existing accounting solutions, as well as the way you do statutory reporting, which is reporting to your government on taxes and also making sure you're in line with regulatory requirements, is not really used that much to run a business. However, it is very necessary to do that well, to make sure that you have good quality data when it comes to cash management, controls when it comes to cost, and then over time, visibility when it comes to the revenue in the business. So this has to be a priority before raising a Series A round. This means just practical things like restructuring your chart of accounts such that it's based on accruals-based accounting rather than cash-based. It means setting in place revenue recognition policies and expenditure matching principles that are in line with a SaaS business, not just any generic business. And when you have this in place, then you can actually produce accurate metrics that show annual recurring revenue, gross margin, CAC, and CAC payback. And after setting up your accounting foundation, you can also then start building out the revenue visibility and predictability that I talked about, which is really in the third layer pyramid here and the second layer pyramid towards the top. But practically speaking, it does mean that finance and operations needs to be a priority if you're looking to go on a high growth journey from day one. So our view is that it should be before raising a Series A round. And what that means is that you have people that are dedicated experts to doing all the things listed on the left-hand side. This touches on everything from funding to capital markets to managing your investors and your board, to looking at inorganic as well as organic growth, positioning, competitive positioning, hiring plan and organizational design, revenue and cost and cash forecasting and budgeting, as well as all the data and metrics to support systems for growth.